ago if I could introduce the next presenter. I asked Luke to come present because he has the same mission as me. As 1 Million Cups, I realized that not all the entrepreneur groups and educators are here. And I'm like, why? But now that's why Carla's here all the time. There's certain people that should be here every week. Colorado Enterprise Fund, so people have access to these people right here. His mission is the same. He's doing that all over town. So we met at Exponential Impact. So you guys should definitely know what that is as entrepreneurs and the opportunities that they bring not only to us, but to other people that you can help along the way. So Luke has a couple of topics that he'll share with you today. And so officially, let's welcome to the stage Luke, and I'm going to say your last name wrong. I should have asked, is it Doster? Doster? Okay. EPIIC Venture Attractor.
Thank you, Sam. I appreciate the intro. I think the mic's the right height, but I just want to say thank you all for this opportunity to speak today. It's great to be in a room surrounded by fellow entrepreneurs and people who are just passionate about this community and building it up. And so I'm going to be talking about two topics today. We have the EPIIC Venture Attractor and Torch Grants, and those are intertwined, and I'll kind of get into how that is the case. But before we do that, I need to backstep to St. Louis, Missouri in a program called the Arch Grants. Now, the Arch Grants was created in St. Louis, Missouri with the economic development mission of revitalizing their downtown as well as creating an entrepreneurial ecosystem there in their city. And so to do this, they put together a fund to raise $50,000 non-equity grants gifted to startup ventures in exchange for them relocating their headquarters to St. Louis for 1 year. Now, that might sound a pretty good deal, right? 50 grand for 1 year, no equity given. Like, I'll move to St. Louis for 1 year. And so with that in mind, this program was created in 2012, and since then, they have gifted 184 $50,000 Arch grants, totaling $9.2 million of investment into their startup community. Now, this $9.2 million has thus brought in over $355 million of venture capital to these entrepreneurs. And besides the capital that they have brought in, they've also generated over 2,300 jobs in St. Louis, Missouri. So seeing the success that Arch Grants had and tracking it over the years, our founder, Dr. Thomas Denning, realized that if they can do this in St. Louis, Missouri, then we could totally do something similar here in Colorado Springs. And so with that in mind, he had been looking at his research from the past 9 years of being here in the city, and had identified a cluster that was both natural and commercial here in Colorado Springs based around sports and outdoors, human performance, and health innovation, businesses, startups, and just activities. And so he took that concept for the industry cluster and merged it with the Arch Grants concepts to create what we now have today of the Torch Grants. And the biggest differentiating factor is that the Arch Grants will gift funds to any startup who goes through their process and succeeds, where Torch Grants, we are focusing strictly on businesses within that industry sector. And so you guys have a handout on your table that does have outlines of our top 5 businesses that went through the Torch Grants, and I'll get to that in a little bit. But Torch Grants was created, and then Tom went out into the community to start raising funds for our original Torch Grants, and was able to generate about $150,000, equivalent to 3 grants, by early 2020. And of course, COVID hit in 2020 and kind of put a stop to all fundraising efforts. But Tom is not one to sit idle on his hands, so he decided that he needed to make a pivot and figure out a way to continue to bring value to this community despite not being able to fundraise. And so he took a serious look at his investor pitch that he was sending out and realized that there was a tagline that we had that had some good merit, which was Colorado Springs Torch Grants, a lifestyle venture attractor. And now that venture attractor piece, we pulled out and turned into a accelerator incubator type program called the Venture Attractor with our Scale to 1 Million Boot Up Camp. Now this camp is created, it's a 16-week program created to help startup founders in our industry cluster learn the foundational business practices to build up the infrastructure for their businesses in order to handle a valuation of $1 million and beyond. As I'm sure you've seen with your businesses, once you get to that point, a lot of times businesses crumble if the infrastructure is not in place. So this program was established to help develop that infrastructure. And so we've now had 2 businesses go through our Venture Attractor cohort, one in 2021 and one that finished this year. And with that cohorts finished, we had our Torch Grants Finals Awards. And so for the first time, we had our ventures compete for these Torch Grants. Now, this Venture Attractor has created a very interesting process that St. Louis does not have, which is a due diligence path for these ventures so that we can identify who are the most viable and the best ventures to scale here in our community. So after going through this program, we had our Torch Grants Finals on June 24th, and this is the handout from the finals. We printed far too many, as I'm sure any event organizers are prone to doing. So this kind of has the top 5 businesses that were selected to compete at the Torch Grants Finals, and there's a little blurb about them in there. But since that finals, we have selected 3 of these ventures to receive $50,000 Torch Grants, which we will be giving away this year. And unfortunately, I can't share the names of the ventures quite yet. That will be shared on October 11th at our community celebration of entrepreneurship here in Colorado Springs. We'll be doing that at the City Auditorium, and you all are invited. There is a ticket fee, but that ticket price is also a donation to Torch Grants in order to create the next round of Torch Grants so that we can continue this program. And so that leads me into the economic development play that Sam had mentioned. And we believe that by using the Venture Attractor and the Torch Grants, we've created a bottoms-up economic model here in Colorado Springs, supporting entrepreneurials at the foundational level in order to then support the community that surrounds them, such as consultants, property managers, coffee shops where they go to meet, parking meters, taxes in the city, and not to mention attractive venture capitalist funds from these businesses that have shown success and scalability. And we believe that by bringing these ventures together, we can attract venture funding, resources, and talent to our community. And these funds not only help the businesses within our sector, but all entrepreneurs in our community. As I'm sure you're all aware, Colorado Springs kind of sucks for venture funding. Everybody leaves to Boulder, everybody leaves to Denver, and we're kind of seen as the redheaded stepchild of the cities. And so, with that said, that's kind of my quick spiel. I didn't have quite all the time to get into the details, but hopefully some Q&A, we can get some answers.
Is there something you wanted to finish up real quick?
I don't remember anymore.
Okay, right? It'll come to you. Did you have a question, Flip? Oh, okay. Same thing, right? Right. Jump.
So this looks like you're associated with UCCS. Can you talk about that association and what that's bringing to, one, the community, and 2, the participants?
Yes, so our association with UCCS is very hands-on and hands-off kind of. So technically, Venture Attractor and Torch Grants are under the umbrella of EPIIC at UCCS, which is the El Pomar Institute for Innovation and Commercialization. We have some other initiatives we do as well. But under EPIIC, we've been able to use their funding and support through the school, as well as I have an office there with my coworkers as well. That allows us to kind of handle some of these operational pieces for the Venture Attractor. And we're working closely with Dean Markell at the College of Business. She's a huge supporter of this program, and she's actually working with some of her close network and donors and things like that in order to help support this upcoming event on October 11th. She was in attendance at our Torch Grants Finals, and the development core and office is helping us do some of this fundraising. So UCCS helps us handle a lot of the back end kind of legal logistic stuff that as entrepreneurs I completely dislike. So it's awesome to have their support in that regard.
We've got an online question from Robert. He says, are there future plans to expand the industries the grants are for?
So right now in Colorado Springs, that was the thing I forgot to mention, so thank you, Robert. So this industry cluster we're hoping is going to develop here in Colorado Springs, reminiscent of kind of Silicon Valley in San Diego. We want Colorado Springs to be the place to come if you have a sports and lifestyle-based venture. While the Torch Grants are strictly for this here in Colorado Springs, we do hope to franchise this concept similar to how Founders Institute does, as well as Techstars and other programs like that, in order to bring it to other cities where we then hope to develop industry clusters that are unique to their cities, such as agriculture technology maybe in the Midwest, or finance tech up in the Northeast. And so while we don't plan to expand that quite yet here in Colorado Springs, it really depends on what happens here in the future. Like I said, this event is for fundraising for more torch grants, so we'll see kind of what the people want. But we do hope to expand to other parts in the nation where we can then develop clusters there as well.
Cool. So I'm interested in this, honestly, as an entrepreneur, and I'd like to see what is the process, the application process, and is there a fee to get into the program?
Yeah, so the application process is honestly right now our biggest roadblock. We're using a platform called F6S, which if any of you are familiar with as an entrepreneur, it's an international platform to really source startups to accelerators internationally, which was our original goal, to bring international businesses here. But that platform has quite a few blocks. Like, you can't even read our information page without creating an account and signing in and doing all of their stuff. And so this has created a roadblock for us. But our application is currently through F6S. We just ask a lot of the basic questions, like, when were you founded? Are you incorporated? What's your business model? How do you fit within our industry? What problem are you solving? What differentiates you? You know, basic stuff like that. But we are planning to bring this application in-house into our website, as well as our program is currently on Microsoft Teams. We would like to also bring that into our website, but that's a work in development currently. As far as the fee for the program, there is a fee. We're still working it out. Like I said, we've had 2 cohorts, so we're kind of an MVP still, maybe moving into like a beta. Well, we're past beta, I would say. But as we move forward to these cohorts, we're still trying to really nail down the pricing. But currently, the pricing is $1,900 for the 4-month course, which includes 16 different foundational concepts, one-on-one mentorship weekly with a mentor who has had success in your specific area or where you're planning to go, as well as continuous progress pitches, guest speakers, and other value adds like that. But if you are affiliated with CU system, there is a discount that drops that down to $1,600.
And Nico, that question was really good, and that's why Luke has been coming regularly, because this is the audience he wants to help get $50,000 to, right?
Exactly. Like, if you guys are in the sports and lifestyle clusters, which is a lot broader than it may seem, like sports and outdoors, we include esports in that just to kind of show where that goes, as well as human performance and health innovation. That's pretty much anything that is really promoting a better humanity. And so we're really trying to focus within that cluster. And there's so many resources here in our community that are akin to that sort of industry. So if you guys are interested in this, the Venture Attractor is the pipeline to get to the torch grants, but we've made the program so that by paying that application fee, you are already walking away with far more value than you spent on this program. And the application fee is to pay back the instructors for this program. We have one instructor. I want to shout her out, but I'm not going to, just because I don't know if she'd want us to. But basically, she helped Robert Kiyosaki write Rich Dad, Poor Dad and managed his entire foundation for that. So, like, there's some cool people in there who have done some very cool things. And so the program itself is worth the money, but it is our due diligence pipeline for the torch grant. So everybody has to go through this program so that we can be hands-on with you, that we can work with you directly and see what sort of entrepreneur you are. Because especially in this day and age where entrepreneurship has become such a buzzword and everybody's got it in their Instagram bio because they think it makes them look cool or something, like, a lot of people want to fake it till they make it, but we want the people who are ready to grind until they make it. And so that's kind of what the Venture Attractor pipeline's for. Put some skin in the game, and we'll help you as much as we possibly can.
And Luke, if we don't find these people here in Colorado Springs, you will find them in other cities, and they'll move here. Because how many of these 5 people did not live here but moved here in order to do this program?
So of those 5, because it's so local right now, they are pretty local, spread through like Boulder and into Colorado Springs and stuff. But actually, 4 of them are UCCS alumni or graduates. And so right now we're pretty close to home, but we do want to expand nationwide to start attracting some of these businesses here to the city. So right now, of these 5 businesses, 1 has since moved to Ohio, but would move back if granted the funding. And so we really hope to expand this so that we can attract more of these businesses here. But honestly, at this point, keeping our star entrepreneurs in Colorado Springs is almost as much of a win as bringing new ones here. Because everybody wants to go to Boulder, everybody wants to go to Denver, but we want them here.
So what happens? So you go through the process, you get this grant. Is that when the accelerator starts, or is it part of, but explain that process, and is there ongoing after they finish the accelerator for support?
Yeah, so great question. The Venture Attractor Accelerator is the prerequisite for the grant. So this starts, our previous one started on February 15th and went until about end of May, early June. And the Torch Grants competition is our version of a demo day, an investor demo day. But the biggest difference is that there is a guaranteed pot of money for the winner. Instead of just hoping that you can pitch to an investor and get them into your network, we're guaranteeing somebody's going to win the money. Maybe you, may not be. It just depends kind of how much work you're willing to put in and how scalable your business really is. And so the pipeline is the application process, which usually is open for about a month or two or so, with obviously awareness and marketing before that. And then we have an initial kickoff event, the 16-week program with various progress pitches and all the value stuff I talked about. And then after that program ends, we do have an investor pitch day, and then that leads into the Torch Grants. And so far, like I've said, we've only had 2 cohorts, so we're really still working on those after the fact value adds. But I keep telling everybody who's been in our program, you're part of our Venture Attractor family now. So we want you to reach out. If you have questions or you want connections and networking here in Colorado Springs, we want to know that that's available for you. And then just to kind of stay in touch with them, I've been sending them resources to events like this, other educational online webinars, or investor pitches that may be available out there. So I'm just trying to get them as much information as they can possibly get. Most of the time they don't even reply because they don't want it, but I just got to try. So that's kind of where we're at with that.
Okay, so I wanted to ask a couple of quick questions then. So they go through the program, and then that then qualifies them to be a finalist, or does that qualify them to be a finalist, or is there a finalist program, and then of the finalists, one person wins the money? That's one question. And then secondly, are you guys a 501c3 or a C6, a B Corp?
So to answer your first question, the program, once they go through that, they're automatically qualified to enter our semifinals competition. And so we had some that decided they didn't want to do it, either because they didn't want to move here or they didn't feel ready or something like that. But everybody who goes through the program is qualified to enter the semifinals. The semifinals, we selected a panel of judges that were unaffiliated with any of the businesses or the Venture Attractor, just kind of friends in the community, brought them in, and they then evaluated these businesses and selected these top 5 to then compete at the finals on June 24th, where we then brought in a separate panel of judges that actually Jonathan Liebert was on the panel as well. And so they helped select these finalists that we now are, we're hoping to gift these funds August 1st. Right now we're dealing with the university lawyer and contractual agreements and stuff. So we've heard that we're supposed to have it done either end of this week or early next week. So we've been working on it for a couple weeks already, so not as fast as it may seem, but it's going well. And then we're hoping to get that funds to them August 1st, and then on this event on October 11th, we'll be announcing them publicly to the community, and then hoping they can share the story on how these funds have already started helping and impacting their businesses. And as far as the designation, I honestly don't know off the top of my head because it was formed before I came on board. I just joined in February, and like I said, it was back in 2020. So Tom Denning would know the exact designation, but I do know every single dollar we're getting right now is going right back into Torch Grants or scholarships for the Venture Attractor program. And so I know the university itself is a 501c, and so all of our money funnels into the CU Foundation from this event, and then they funnel it back into a specific distribution in order to gift these Torch Grants and scholarships.
I'm trying to remember. I think you had said something about 3 people or 150,000. So I'm wondering if 3 people of these 5 will get it, or if it's just the one. Is the first question?
Yeah. So I guess that was the part of her question I did not answer, but we are giving away all 3 of our $150,000 we've generated. So there will be 3 Torch Grants we're giving out this year, $50,000 each.
How it works, where there's 5 finalists and then 3 will be winners.
So that is still kind of up in the air as we move forward. Right now, we did it that way as it was kind of the best allocation for the funds we had and the number of ventures we've had through our program. But as we move forward, the original goal for Torch Grants when he was fundraising, Tom was trying to raise $2.5 million so that we could give away 14 Torch Grants each year for the next 3 years. And so we'd love to scale up to that point. as that would be bringing in 42 companies in 3 years, 42 ventures to bring into this community in a 3-year period would just be awesome. So that's really the goal we're trying to scale up to. So hopefully, the only reason we'd give out less is if we just can't raise the funds in this community, which so far is not as easy as you may think, just the community we're in. But hopefully, with all of these changes and things, we can really open up this entrepreneurship community so that everybody can have a better opportunity raising funds.
Okay, so last question, then I've got to yield the microphone here. But it says scale to 1 million boot camp. I don't know if that's just because you're at 1 million cups, or if every business has to, kind of have that 1 million sort of metric, or what are some of the metrics that you're looking for?
Yeah, so we're working with smaller businesses. We kind of coined a term pre-accelerator businesses. So a lot of times we're looking at these businesses that maybe have created an idea and have started to implement it, but haven't quite gotten to a point where maybe they don't have customers yet, or maybe they do have customers and they're revenue generating. But the scale to 1 million component is basically that we're giving you the knowledge and lessons needed in order to handle evaluation of $1 million, and that's a pre-money evaluation of $1 million to investors, as that's kind of where the business is really real. Like, you're raising serious Series A's, serious funding, and a lot of times that infrastructure is not in place and then has to be reworked once you get to that point. And so then you are really backtracking and you're not quite ready for the actual community. So the program itself is to help you build that infrastructure, and hopefully we can scale you to $1 million post-money or pre-money valuation by the end of the program. But it's basically just to make sure that you are able to handle that sort of viability. So if your business can't over that 16-week period, then chances are you probably won't be getting a torch grant, and maybe you've pivoted the business model and made some serious changes. We had some businesses that came in and they were doing well, and they realized that they had none of that infrastructure in place and had to basically scrap it and start back from the beginning using the components they knew that worked and the components that make it even better. And so by the end of the program, they came back stronger than before, even though they were technically behind where they started, if that makes sense.
Awesome. Let's go back to this event in October at the City Odd. So I know you have a 300-person goal/capacity. So my $100 ticket pays for a really nice dinner and then funds part of the torch grants. And then I'm sure you'll be doing some other fundraisers along the way.
Yeah, so on October 11th at the City Auditorium, we've been working with the Community Cultural Collective. They were kind enough to let us use their space for this event, as our mission also aligns with theirs and Sam's. They're super into entrepreneurship and art all over the city. But for the $100 ticket price, there is a plated meal dinner, so everybody will come in. It's going to be business casual. We were going to do super casual, like entrepreneur, like flip-flops and Crocs and stuff, but apparently that didn't go over as well as we thought it would, because yeah, but anyways, it's going to be business casual, and you will be receiving a nice plated dinner. We'll have some little like handouts, memorabilia, stuff like that. I have some ideas for some fun giveaways and games for the event as well. But then a majority of those funds, so obviously through UCCS we have to do the fair market value or whatever, so whatever is not included in that fair market value goes directly back into the torch grants, and our goal is to come away from this competition with at least 2 torch grants, so $100,000 of capital. We would love to raise way more than that, and so we are doing sponsorships as well. We have 3 platforms. We are in talks for our champion sponsor right now, and then we have 2 others, patron and supporter, for $10,000 and $5,000 respectively, and we're working to raise those funds, and those all are going directly into torch grants as well.
So do you have a mechanism in place for someone that wants to just donate into the scholarships, and what does that look like in terms of doing it, and is it a tax deduction? Are there things like that in place already?
Yeah, so I'm actually working on that right now through our platform at UCCS called CVent. I'm trying to create a donation for the scholarships as well, so you can just give a partial or a full scholarship to these programs, which honestly at this point would be very helpful as well, because we just want to get more people in this program. But it is completely tax deductible. It would be considered a donation through all of the correct university protocol stuff. Not my forte, so I don't know the specifics on it. But we are working on mechanisms in order to do that, as well as the support supporter at the $5,000 level, that is going to include a scholarship as well. So everybody who is a supporter, portion of that, the $3,100 will go towards the torch grants, and then one scholarship for $1,900 as well will be pulled out.
Great. I'm glad you asked that, because that was similarly what I was going to ask. And basically, at this point, if we know someone in the audience that can commit to the 14 weeks, can commit to kind of the whole year in engagement, if that application fee is their only barrier, and we as a community know that this person is going to do this, then we can do our part by helping get those scholarships and sponsorships through.
I love that idea. I actually have not thought of that at all, but I think some sort of crowdfunding or support for that program would be a very cool thing to implement. So maybe we can chat outside and figure out how we could do that, because I think that'd be very cool.
So yeah, I guess I thought I turned it on. Is there anyone in the audience that listening to this can say, I want to apply to this, and this is something that I know I can do? Raise your hand. Let me see it. Yes. Okay. These
That's
are the people
awesome.
I was thinking. Good. See? Did you see that too? One more time for Luke.
I saw. You guys don't
Okay.
have to. Appreciate it, though. But, there any other questions? Or I don't know what time I'm at.
Oh, that's okay. So what can we do as a Colorado Springs business community do to help you?
Yeah, so similar to Craig, I mean, honestly, I am just kind of trying to network and meet as many people as we can. Like Sam said, I just want to tie this community together. For so long, it's felt like we've had silos between every single organization, and we just need to break down those walls and become the community we are again. So if you guys just want to talk and learn more about this program, or you just want to share what you're working on, I love hearing that sort of information. I love learning about other entrepreneurs and their ventures and what they're doing. So one, I would love to just chat with everybody. I realize my contact information isn't on there, but classic UCCS protocol, my email is just ldoster, D-O-S-T-E-R, at uccs.edu. And if you want that, I can share it with you after as well. Yeah, ldoster, D-O-S-T-E-R, at uccs.edu. And then other than just meeting with you guys, if you know anybody who may be interested in being a sponsor for this event, especially at the patron or the supporter level, I mean, we're definitely interested in facilitating some of those conversations and just getting that awareness out to the community. Whether they do support it or not is obviously kind of a moot point. I just want them to be aware that this event is going on and that it is a possibility. If they don't want to support, we are also offering a corporate table for $500. Right now it's got 6 seats. That price may be adjusting. I had a question earlier on why the event is not online yet. We're still working on the foundation aspects of it, so we're trying not to put anything online. But again, August 1st is kind of our goal for that, so hopefully we'll have that out there. But we are going to be selling corporate tables as well, so if they maybe aren't going to be a donor or a sponsor, we'd love to at least have their corporate office or facility come represent at the event. We're really hoping to bring together the whole community, from the top people at UCCS to the top people at the EDC to obviously the BBB and other entities here in the city. So if you guys know anybody who may be interested, just let them know, connect us. We'd love to just chat with them. Thank you.
I got a mug for you, my friend. Nice job. We gotta talk afterwards. All right, so with closing remarks, I would like to invite up our space host, Judy, with Next Us. Thank you.
Hey everybody, my name's Judy. I'm here with the Next Us. Thanks again everybody being here to support the entrepreneurs. That's kind of our thing here. I'm just going to read you real quick. Here at the Next Us, we're rewriting the narrative and building strength from a foundation of self-acceptance. We're working through the fear and insecurity until we can celebrate our own quirks and resonate with our makeup. Together we span the spectrum, and as we, each unique, carve our way through this journey that is life, it becomes clear as we redefine the world where we stand, we put ourselves in a position to launch out and beyond. Here at the Next Us, our wildest dreams are becoming our realities. Thank you.
All right, so final announcements, space etiquette, just clean up after yourself. You guys are all good at this, and I wanted to finish with a fun old-time quote. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, and that's by Benjamin Franklin. So it's my quote of the week.